Let's have a look at some French knots in ribbon work now. They make a really great flower centre, as you can see here, and you could make them in any size ribbon, just depends what size centre you want really. So I'll show you the basics of how to do this. So I'm going to use a 2mm ribbon now, so I'm going to have nice small centres in this case for these little daisies. So I've got 2mm yellow ribbon and I've attached the end around the needle, and then I've just put a knot in the other end to start them off. So I've just marked on where I want my centres to go, and it's not really any different to a normal French knot that you would do in hand embroidery, but you just need to loosen your tension a little, otherwise the needle won't go through to the fabric. So come up where you want your knot to sit, where you want your flower centre to be. Needle goes behind the ribbon and over the top. Ribbon goes over the top of the needle, underneath and back towards you. Try not to twist the ribbon if you can, keep it nice and flat. Keep the tension on this part of the ribbon here. Needle goes back into the fabric close by to where you came out, and just pull that up gently. Now if this was French knot in other kinds of embroidery, you could pull that reasonably tight, but I'm just going to keep that quite loose now, and then just wiggle the needle through to the back and just kind of troll that down a little bit so you can see. Just control that down, and you want a nice raised knot, so don't pull it too tightly. I'll do that again. If you want to do a little group together, you can. This is quite a narrow ribbon, these tend to be as small as they go. So needle away from you, ribbon over the needle, back under it, back towards you, so you've got that V shape. Keep the tension on here. Needle goes back into the fabric. Just take up the tension on this before you take the needle through to the back, and you can just guide it down if you want to. Nice and slowly make a nice textured knot. So I'll do one more to do it underneath. It's easy to work it away from yourself, so I shall do it here. Over the needle, back towards you. Needle goes in, just take up the tension and let go of that part of the ribbon. Once you've done that, through to the back, guide it down nice and slowly, and that's the centre of my flower. So I'm going to do another 2 centres. Don't pull them too tightly. Just need to untwist the ribbon so it lies nice and flat. You can see it sort of twists up a bit, you can just untwist it. And one more over here. I'm just jumping from one centre to the next. That's not a distance, is not very far, and the ribbon you waste starting and finishing you can just use to travel from one to the other. So I've got 3 French knots to make 3 different centres. Bring that ribbon out of the way, and then just to turn that into a flower, we can use lots of different stitches. I'm going to show you with just a straight stitch. We used it in the lavender video, so if you haven't seen that you can pop over and check that one. But just a really simple way of making a flower. I'm going to come up at the edge of my knot, so I've got another yellow ribbon. I've got 4mm this time to make my petals a little bit bigger. And then the straight stitch, just use my laying tool, literally a forward stitch, and just guide that down. And you can just work your way around your French knot centres. to pull that up a little bit. Okay. With some straight stitches, you can see that daisy starting to form. Okay, so that's one daisy done. So this is about French knots. So obviously if you do it in a larger ribbon, you'll get a larger knot. So if you want big single centres, use a wider ribbon. This is a 2mm ribbon. And then I've just added the straight stitch around the side to make the daisies, and I'll just finish off the other two. So as my last petal, you can just finish your ribbon off by weaving underneath the ribbons and the stitches on the back. So we have ribbon work daisies in French knots and straight stitch.